So to be more confident in setups or pick between similar charts, you can do the following, right? So if we have, say, we're drawing out all of our charts and we have 4 or 5 different patterns that basically look the same. We have one on XRP, ADA, BNB, and Solana. We want to pick the chart that is going to give us the best technical entries and that looks the most technically sound if all of them are basically the same concept. So, maybe they're all looking good with just the 358 technical analysis. That's where we can start to look at the CH1 technical analysis, and also something that I call an under or overside trend reset on wave 5 or retest on wave 5, right? So the step 1 confirmation is going to be the underside overside trend retest on 5. To do this, find the trend that it was previously broken by the trend that you're currently trading and see if on the wave 5 of your 358 trend is retesting that trend level as a new support or resistance of wave 5. Oftentimes previous resistance will become support, vice versa. That probably seems really confusing, so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and erase our previous setup. Okay, so then I can start talking about some of the new stuff. Now, what if we were to take a short position off of this uptrend? Okay, so once again, we do have a trend break here where price rejected all these levels, came up, touched it, once again, retested that underside. This is exactly where we previously got long on this trend. So you can start to understand why this is happening. Resistance is going to flip and start to become support, right? And that's exactly what, we basically did all the other technical analysis to support this sort of, this concept. Right, you can't just start drawing these lines all over the chart, but this is what happens. So we have a trend retest or trend break here, new uptrend here, so we can start to look for another 358 on the way up. Okay, so once again, this is the low, so this is going to be the beginning of my steps. So let's do it again. Let's do this another time. We're going to do our 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is looking to be 5. So then I can go ahead and I can see how deep this 2 retraces. It doesn't look like it quite hit the 61.8. Okay, so I hit it like just on the head basically. All right, so perfect 61.8 retracement before we got our move up. So now we're going to go ahead once again and find our factor of 1. This is going to be our factor of 1. So we're going to go off of this low, high of 1, back down. All right, and so we can see if we back this high level down a little bit, we get a nice response off of 161.8, and now price action is coming into 261.8 off of this projection. So all the rules are looking really, really good. How do we get extra confluence on this? How can we use CH1s and underside retests? So let's talk about first an underside or overside retest. So if I have a 358 that I'm looking to short into, I need a confirmation that this wave 5 is going to be the highest point before we start to get a regression down. We can use other trend levels to see if it's, caught support, broken underneath it, and then is going to come up at the same exact zone as our projection and test it as a new resistance level. So previously was support, now is resistance. Same thing how we saw here. Resistance, 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 breaks it, test support, flips. So we have support, 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 breaks it, resistance. Right at the same exact level that we're also getting a 261.8 projection. This is going to give us added confluence that this is a really, really good level, even before we get there on the chart, right? So, okay, so as we're setting this up, we're not going to know that this is going to go to that level. All right, so we're just anticipating that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. But what we can do is now that we have this underside retest, we have an intersection zone here. The second thing that we can do, and this is the added confluence with the channel system, is we can take our parallel channel tool and we can start drawing our interior and exterior trend lines. So if I have a trend line here up to this high, okay, that can be one level. And then if I draw another one off of this consolidation zone inside that low area, back up to our one level up here, okay, so off of this level and off that level, we can see that now we have a web of confluence in this zone. So in this pocket, we have an underside retest where it used to be support, turned resistance, perfect projection level, and then also a resistance level off of our channel. So if we have 1, 2, 3, fourth contact point. So 1, 2, 3, fourth contact point, all happening in the same exact zone. This is ultimate confluence. This is what's going to show you the best setups. So if you're between setups and you have this on one and you don't have this on other setups, choose this setup, because now we have all of these things telling us yes simultaneously. All right. So as we play this forward, we can then see, like, obviously we know what happened already, but now we have made contact with that level. So if we want to use this technical analysis to take a CH1 trade, go for it. You know, if you want to anticipate this high of 5 here and say like, oh, I'm ready to just get short, I want to take a CH1, you can use what you learn off of your Elliott wave theory to confirm whether this is going to be a good area to get short, right? So if we're just going to set up our, CH1, profit target's going to come down to the retracement of this overall trend. So we would set our take profit level there, 1 to 3 risk reward. Perfect. This is a way that you can trade a CH1. This is how these two things come in handy and can work in tandem with one another. If we want extra confluence for a 358 entry, now we can use all of the stuff we know from CH1s to be able to do that. Okay, so now if we play this forward, we have our move down, right? So now even though this doesn't break the 3 level here, if we were to break the 3 level, and this is why I draw these parallel channels here, this would have to come down so low that look at how much proportionately it would be in this trend. Like this wave 4 is basically where our take profit would want to be. So there's no way that we would want to see a move like this where it's like that and then it's that big, because this is just not realistic. Okay, that's not really what we're looking for, what's going to happen. So this is where the wave count is subject to change, right? So we kind of do see, if we go down maybe onto like a 3-minute time frame, right? This technically, we could be wrong about our wave count, right? This could be the high of 3, 4, and then 5. So maybe our 3 is now here and our 4 is now here. What's really the most important is our projection, our wave structure, and then into 5. Okay, so sometimes considering that this is, maybe our 3 and that our 4 is down here, okay, we do have some region in here where you have a high here and a low here, which if we were to draw a channel would give us something that really does look like a good level for a 3-5A. So even though this isn't necessarily textbook, we have so much confluence up here. This is maybe a situation where I would take a CH1 versus a 3-5A, considering that we do have kind of a weird wave structure. But we do have all of the rules for Elliott wave, coming into fruition. So just to cover those again, 2 does not go below the beginning of the trend here. We have a simple wave structure, right? Like we learned about with the Elliott wave. This is complex. This is simple. Everything's working. 3 is not the shortest wave. That is also working. So all the rules are coming together. Not super clear on a 3-5A entry with the 3 level here, but what really is the most important if we have all these other confluences is basically just following this step here where we're going off of the high of 5 here down to this low, right? And we're getting short in the 61.8. So in all honesty, I would probably take a CH1 in this situation because of the weird wave structure. But just to show you at the extra layers of confluence, I'm sort of showing you this idea. This will still work, by the way. Okay, so we have our price action pulling down. One anticipated B is in here, and then our C is going to go out there. So we set up a short position just inside the 61.8. Stop loss over this 5 region here. Take profit is going to be to be determined somewhere down here. We have our 1 to 3 risk reward. Everything's looking good. So we can play this forward. Price action comes up, gets us filled, right? So now we're waiting for this A wave to break to move our what's it called? Stop loss, right? So we can go ahead and set an alert here, play this forward, see what happens, wait for this to break. So there's our break level. So now we can reduce risk inside here. So now we're risking basically nothing to make a full profit target. We also have the distance between A and B established. Okay, so we can go in here. We can take our trend-based fib extension, B, A, back up to here. And so now, in this situation, we can see 261.8 is pretty low on this overall trend. I know this probably looks crazy, but if you've been following along, you know exactly what each thing means on this chart. Okay, so we can see 261.8 is lining up perfectly to the retracement of this overall trend here. If we were to bring our profit target up to 161.8 off of our original risk here, this isn't really going to give us that best risk reward factor either. It's going to give us like that 1 to 2.37. So once again, in this situation, I'm going to probably go for just above this 261.8 projection and really, really let this rip. So you can see we did get a consolidation even at that region. So we did kind of just start to trade sideways at that level. But this level did fill. This is close to between 1 and 4 here. And then we have, the 61.8 overall trend and the 261.8 region in there. Now, this is a rule that I forgot to mention as far as the Elliott wave, where 4 isn't really supposed to go past the high of 1. I know a lot of people will probably say, oh, well, your 4 clearly crested that high of 1 there. What's really important, and this is a question I get a lot, is there's certain things that have to be technically followed to a T without any wiggle room, and then there's things that just need to roughly work in order to confirm the pattern of Elliott wave. So in this situation, if I look at this chart, this level didn't necessarily disregard this region of price action that's showing resistance here for our wave 1. So if we go in here and look at this whole range of importance, if you were to look at this and say, did the price action come to this box of importance, which is the high of 1, and ignore it? No, it hit it, and then it blew up off that level. So even though 4 did break that high of 1 and it's treading the line of acceptable, what we really want to see is how 4 responds to the region of 1. If it respects it nicely, even if it's a little bit off, it's fine. If this just chops aimlessly through this level and then decides to do its own thing, then we're going to be like, okay, just disregard the level, like slice through it like butter. We're not even going to pay attention to that. Okay. So that is sort of addressing that issue here. We can see price did come all the way down, and now off of our original risk factor here, 1 to 3.6, so $360 profit off of $100 risk. I risk $1,000 per trade. So this trade in just 5 hours, right? In 5 hours, I made $3,600 in profit. So if you can do this a couple times a week, then you're looking at, $5,000-$7,000 a week. This is the opportunity of swing trading and taking these trades once you have a bit bigger of an account and you're comfortable with it. Obviously, if you take several of these, if you make 300, take a few losses, maybe you're making 1,000 in the beginning or under $1,000 per week. You have more losses when you're learning, totally fine. But you can see how you can start to scale this up and, sort of be able to trade these and swing trade it with larger bits of money, and you really don't have to do all that much work to make way more money than most people. So that is the 3-5A long and short. So long in this region, short in here, with the extra confluences of under and overside retests and extra confluence with using the CH1, right? Like I said, we can use the technical analysis of 3-5As if we're taking CH1s to be able to see, okay, is this projection coming into my chop channel? Do I have a proper wave structure that I'm shorting into to give you that added encouragement, underside retest that you are getting into a good level with a CH1 and that everything makes sense. The more things saying yes, the higher chance you have of any of these concepts working. Then it's about systematically structuring yourself in there with fibs so that you know you're doing everything right.